In a quiet village nestled between green hills, there lived an old woman named Meera. She was 78 years old, with silver hair, soft eyes, and a kind smile. Everyone in the village called her Dadi Meera. Meera lived alone in a small house at the edge of the village. Her husband had passed away many years ago, and her children lived in the city. Though she lived by herself, Meera was never lonely. She had a little garden behind her house where she grew flowers, vegetables, and fruits. The villagers often said as, "Dadi Meera's garden is the happiest place in the village." One year, something terrible happened. There was no rain for many months. The river dried up and the land turned brown and cracked. Crops failed, and many families were worried about food. Even the trees looked tired. Meera's garden also began to suffer. The flowers drooped and the vegetables stopped growing. Her neighbors saw the dry soil and said, "Everything is dying. Nothing can survive this drought." But Meera didn't give up. Every morning she carried 2 small buckets of water from the village well, which was far from her house. She poured a little water on each plant, whispered kind words to them, and smiled. Her neighbor Ramu asked, "Dadi, why do you work so hard for a garden that's almost dead?" Meera replied, "My dear, if I stop now, it will surely die. But if I keep trying, maybe one flower will bloom. And one flower is enough to bring hope." The villagers watched as the old woman continued her routine every day. Slowly, one small marigold bloomed. Then a tomato plant showed green leaves. Then, to everyone's surprise, a few butterflies returned to her garden. Children began to visit her again. "Dadi, how did you bring the flowers back?" they asked. Meera smiled and said, "I never stopped believing. Positive thoughts are like water for the soul. If we stay hopeful, life finds a way." The news of her garden spread. People from nearby villages came to see it. Many were inspired. They returned to their homes and started caring for their dry fields and broken gardens. Slowly, other plants began to grow again too. Even the sky seemed to notice Meera's efforts. A few weeks later, dark clouds gathered. Rain finally came, soft and sweet, washing over the land. The village rejoiced. Children danced in the rain, and farmers hugged each other with joy. Ramu came running to Meera and said, "You were right, Dadi. You didn't let the drought win." Meera nodded gently. The rain came not just from the clouds, but from our hearts. When we think good thoughts, we invite good things into our lives. After the rain, Meera's garden bloomed with bright flowers, green vegetables, and sweet fruits. Birds sang from the trees, and bees buzzed from flower to flower. Her small garden became a symbol of hope and strength for the whole village. Years later, even after Meera had passed away peacefully in her sleep, people still spoke of her with love. A sign was placed near her garden that read, "This is the Garden of Hope," started by one old woman with 2 buckets, a smile, and a heart full of positive thoughts. Moral: no matter how difficult life becomes, positive thinking gives us the strength to keep going. Like Meera Dadi, if we stay hopeful and do our best, even a small effort can grow into something beautiful. One positive thought can change everything.